We're here outside of the Provo courthouse where Tyler Robinson just had a court hearing. This was his second court hearing since he's been charged in the shooting of Charlie Kirk. It was a little bit routine. It was basically a waiver hearing where the defense attorney would decide or tell the judge whether they wanted a preliminary hearing. And Kathy Nestor, the defense attorney, did indicate that they do want a preliminary hearing, but that they weren't ready to schedule it quite yet. So what happens at a preliminary hearing is the prosecution will present some of the case. And what they're really trying to show is that there's enough evidence for this case to go forward. But it's not really like a trial because the bar is so low. They just have to show that there's probable cause, that a crime probably was committed and was probably committed by this person. And if the judge finds that that low bar has been met, then the case will continue forward. Tyler Robinson will be arraigned. He'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. And then the case just kind of moves from here. What's been notable so far is just all of the security that's been around the courthouse today. There's a lot of sheriff's deputies here. There's a lot more restrictions on what we can bring into the courtroom. We couldn't bring bags or have face coverings, things like that. There's just a lot of really tight security here compared to what we've seen in any other court hearing I've ever gone to. The preliminary hearing wasn't set today. They're asking for a delay because there's just voluminous evidence in this case. There's a lot to go through, and that evidence just hasn't been exchanged yet. So once that evidence gets exchanged between the defense and the prosecution, then they'll come back to court at the end of October. Maybe then we'll set a next date for when that preliminary hearing could be.
As this case moves forward, Mr. Robinson's constitutional rights will be protected at every stage.
One thing that was also unusual today is Judge Tony Graf kind of made a speech from the bench, which is a little bit unusual for a judge. And basically what he did was promise that he wouldn't put his finger on the scale of justice here. He promised that Tyler Robinson would get a fair trial, all of his constitutional rights would be protected, and kind of encouraged the prosecution and the defense to do their best work. Seems like he's pretty aware that a lot of people are watching this case and wanted to kind of set the tone from the beginning of this, that this will be a fair process for everyone.